Cool. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olive, and you are joining me for episode 3 of Podcast with Olive with my wonderful guest today, Lucy Pinto. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure to kind of welcome you on, and honestly, just from a selfish perspective, get to know a bit more about your life.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, because like we've trained together in the past. Lucy's coached me when it's come to boxing, and we've hung out and done a couple of like other random jobs, I guess, together.
Yeah.
But I don't think, and we've had coffee dates, but I want to get to know about your life and how you've come to this point here.
Amazing.
So yeah, I guess to kind of like start off with, if you want to tell everyone what you do right now, and then we'll slowly unpack.
Yeah, exactly. So I own the Box Brighton. We've been open just over 4 years now. So I'm head coach, I guess, and CEO. But I'm
CEO.
Also, yeah, CEO. I'm also an art director. So that's kind of actually where my career started. It was more in the creative world. So I still do that part-time. So part-time art director.
Nice.
And then I run the studio as well.
Amazing. And within the studio, you mainly coach boxing and strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay,
So it's
cool.
boxing inspired fitness studio, and we sort of roll that into our strength classes as well. And it's been so incredible the last sort of couple of years to really see the strength side grow. And as I know that you love to lift heavy as well, it's so inspiring to see women pick up that barbell and just absolutely smash it. It's been great.
Yeah, 100%. It's a very like empowering kind of movement to do, and every time I've seen you train, every time I've like come across your videos on Instagram when we've done movement together, you strike me as a very powerful woman, and it's very, very, very like inspiring to see.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet. Because I'm, 5'0" nothing, and it's the same. I feel exactly the same. When we first met, I think that's why we connected.
Yeah.
And it's just really lovely to see women finally finding a space, particularly in the fitness world. It's very male dominated, and I do get not questioned, but when people find out that I'm the owner of the studio, they're like, "Oh, it's yours," expecting this kind of like burly lad to turn up and be like, "Oh no, it's mine." I'm like, "Well, yeah, we do have a space, and let's try and create more space for women."
Interesting. Because there was a video that I uploaded. It was a reel that I uploaded to Instagram of you coaching me boxing, and I think it was like the first ever session I did with you, and got some like wonderful feedback from people. But there was this one comment that really, really pissed me off. It was from a guy, and he was giving me like unsolicited advice about like my form and being like blah blah. I was like, my guy, I have never done boxing before. This is my first chance. Like, I'm still learning the ropes. But I was like, would he have commented that if my trainer was a male? And I was like, I wonder if he commented because it was two females doing a typical like male dominated sport. And that really annoyed me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Did you respond?
I think I did, and I was just like, cool, thanks, this is my first time learning, I'm all good, I'll learn from my coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, guys, you've got more important things to do in your life than comment on things like that. And as you say, it's a real shame that we do question, would they ask that if I had a male coach? Would they ask that if I was a guy? But unfortunately, that's what we're used to. And I feel that we really have to, make it better for the next generation. It's not going to change in our lifetime, sadly. No. There has been positive change. Finally women are allowed to compete in boxing. Kathy Brown made that change more in the sort of 90s.
Okay.
Hello. And it's been a significant change, but we're still regarded in such different levels in every sport. Even though the women's football that was on a couple of weeks ago, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you the comments that I've been reading from some guys, and just give women a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like allow them to take up the space, and like everyone's like welcome to the space. But there's so much sort of stereotype around it that still needs dismantling. So I'm curious, when did you start boxing?
So my journey into that. So I've always been into fitness, always. Okay. So my mum took me to dance lessons when I was about 3.
Nice.
Apparently she didn't know that they made ballet shoes that small, and I went in my slippers, which was great. So I've always been into movement. I've loved dancing, did ballet and gymnastics, amateur level up to I was about 14. Nice. And then basically had an injury, which knocked my confidence for 6. It really did. I tried to get back competing, and I don't know what sort of happened in my mind, but I couldn't sort of face people and compete anymore. Right. So my coach at the time said, right, well, let's get you into some cross training. And I thought, I don't know, maybe we're going to play tennis or go swimming, or you took me to a boxing club. And I was like, okay. At that time I was 14 and even shorter than what I am now, if that's possible. And yeah, it kind of changed my life. It changed my life in terms of what you get from fitness. I've always loved dancing, and still now I don't even need a drink. If there's a good tune on, I'll be there for hours and with good company. Absolutely. It's brilliant, and it's such freeing movement. I've never found that kind of euphoric high from training before.
Oh wow.
And that's what really had a significant change on me.
And do you think part of that was to do with the fact that, again, you were a young woman in this space where it's not a typical space that you would find girls training? And do you think it had anything to do with that?
Possibly. I mean, I think maybe at the age of 14 I wasn't really in that sort of mindset. I just wanted to feel really good about myself, because prior to that, and we've spoken about this in the past, you know, especially with dancing and gymnastics, there's so much pressure, and I did have a very negative just feeling about my whole body, you know, sort of just eating disorders, you know, negative voices in my head, and just being really cruel to myself. And I look back now, and if I could give myself anything, speak to my younger self, it would be just be kind. There's so much pressure from society, but there's so much pressure we bring to ourselves just to conform in whatever that is, whether it's school, home, being the best daughter, being the best sister, being this, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember just beating myself up about it mentally so much. So I think with the boxing, it really empowered me. And I was like, damn, this is amazing. I really wanted to get good at it. I mean, I've competed at sort of, you know, interclub level, had lots of fights, but I would never say I'm a pro ever at all. It's just something I really love. And I also just love teaching that discipline to other people and for them to find that feeling.
So it's a sense of like empowerment through expression in a different way. And I can imagine like the training that I did with you, it was so incredibly cathartic for what I was feeling. I was like, nice.
I need this right now.
Entirely. And to have that like physical outlet to feel like I'm shifting some of this energy right now, or I'm shifting, I don't know, you could take it in another direction. I'm shifting this like negative self-talk that I have within myself, and I'm taking it out on something right now. And it's like moving out of my body, and in turn, I'm feeling like empowered from it.
Exactly. You're letting it go. And it is a sense of... It's a sense of relief.
Exactly. Because especially like what I found with like dance, what I found with gymnastics, is so entirely orientated around perfectionism, which is nice in some regards, but for I think our personality types, not good.
Definitely not.
No. And it's very like, the movement itself is incredible, the discipline incredible, but the control that you have to create and that level of perfectionism is like an unhealthy coping mechanism. And then that's like fed into like, again, the sort of mentality you have with like eating disorders and how you view yourself. And I feel like towards the end of I never did gymnastics at an elite level. I just kind of did it and was moving with it. But it always felt like it was for someone else, not for me. Whereas I feel like with boxing, it feels like it's for yourself because it's coming back to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a really lovely feeling as well to actually honour yourself, as cheesy as that sounds. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So many things we do for other people, and even in our worlds right now, you know, we're constantly giving to other people, whether you know, it's training or maybe doing a podcast, whatever it is, you know, you're constantly giving. So actually to even if it's just 20 minutes of, you know, I watch you all the time doing your headstands and wish I could do all of that and handstands, and it's amazing, but you're doing that for you. It's very rare that we can actually be like, do you know what, I'm just going to be selfish for 20 minutes and do me. That's it.
Exactly. And just give back to myself. Especially as a coach, like, how do you find managing your time then? Because again, the nature of our jobs is so giving, especially when you own that space, when you own the box and you're also coaching. How do you find that time for you?
I struggle, if I'm completely honest.
Okay, yeah.
And I still work in the creative world. So I freelance now as an art director, which is good because I can kind of pick and choose my work, which sounds luxurious, but it's not. You know, as a freelancer, you still say yes to everything.
Yes.
And a lot of my clients want to train first thing in the morning. So you know, it's very early starts, late to bed, not a great sleeper. So I'm doing okay at the moment. Okay. But, you know, I'm not getting any younger. And I'm really, I think since sort of lockdown happened, it's really made me look at actually who I am as a person and what I want from life. And I just want more happiness and more time with my friends. And, you know, my other half has definitely labelled me a workaholic in the past. And it's not because I'm addicted to work, it's because I actually just really enjoy it.
You love what you do.
Training and owning the gym, it's not a job. Like like this morning I've seen over 100 people.
Oh my God.
And it fills my heart, honestly. Even if one person left the studio and just went, you know what, Lisa, I feel great now. I'm like, job done.
Yeah.
That's it. That is not work.
Yeah.
You know, I remember back to the days when I did do a 9 to 5 in the office, although it was something I still enjoyed, creative. But, you know, you're looking around the ad sales team, they're all like heads down like this. They're hating their job. Why don't you go and find something you love?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I took a big pay cut when we moved from London to come down here, but I have never been happier.
Yeah.
Money does not bring you happiness.
No,
it
definitely
doesn't.
not. No. It's the impact that you create, I guess, for like other people.
Yeah, and creating that community. We're so fortunate that we've attracted a really good crowd of people. I mean, everyone in Brighton and Hove is so nice anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And people really want to help each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when I first opened the space and we had the doors open for quite a lot of it because the building work was going on, people were just walking past and curious, oh, what's it going to be? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, can I help? Oh, I know so-and-so that does this. Here's their number.
Oh, nice.
And coming from London, I was like, what? What do you mean? You just walk with your head down and grunt, don't you?
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really lovely place to be.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I know you've kind of spoken about it a little bit to me. You have more plans for the box. Am I right?
Yes.
If you're willing to share,
yeah, absolutely. it's no secret now. And yeah, the building work is going on at the moment.
Okay,
so I have acquired a bigger space. It's down the same road. So members don't need to stress about moving to a different location.
Nice.
But the kind of ultimate dream, or I guess the vision, was always to have not well-being, because I mean, I guess that it can be interpreted in so many different ways, the term well-being, and it is a kind of a buzzword as well. But I wanted to be able to have more space that I can offer different things. So I do a lot of workshops all over the country, retreats, and my friend Jo and I have got the Reset Clinic, which is an online platform for nutrition and mindset education. I just wanted a space where I could bring it all together.
Yeah.
And this is going to offer that.
Nice.
So building work is happening at the moment. It's keeping me up awake at night. And I can't breathe, slightly anxious talking about it. But I believe in the project so much because our members are just another level. I mean, they kept me going through COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as everything, lockdown happened, when Boris announced it on the Friday, we were online on the Saturday. I stopped everybody's membership. And by the Monday, probably 80% of people said, I still want to support you, or I want to pay full membership.
Yeah.
I mean, I was crying at my laptop.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but
yeah.
Without that, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah, but it's testament to the work that you have done and the individual and the coach that you are, because if people didn't like you, they wouldn't they wouldn't be there. So again, it's like testament to what you've created, the space, the community, the support network. So it's like, it's really lovely when that comes to remind you again.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, again, I feel like we're very similar people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can be very hard on myself and forget what I have done. And then constantly this like inner critic is like really loud, like you're not doing enough, you're not doing this, you're stagnating, your progress isn't going anywhere. And then it's someone who makes a little comment or makes a gesture like that. I'm like, Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am
Nice.
doing all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all right actually. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But it's so hard being self-employed. You have no one to sort of compare your journey to because everyone is so vastly different. Even though we're in the same world, we have very, very different roles, like with what we
Absolutely.
do. So it's like there's no like textbook answer to do anything.
No, there isn't at all, is it?
No.
And, you can rewrite that narrative if you don't like it.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Which in itself is like incredible, terrifying.
Yeah.
But
All of the
also
above.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of digressing a little bit, going back to how you started boxing, when did you then like decide to coach?
Okay, so there's a little bit of an extra part to that kind of story. Very briefly, growing up, my mum had mental health issues. She's fine now. She's still on medication. But from about the age of 12, she's always struggled, basically. Back then, sort of in the 90s, doctors didn't really know too much about mental health and depression and anxiety, and they just sort of like chucked you some pills, and that was kind of it, really. So bless her, she's probably tried every drug under the sun and been used a bit of a kind of like test gap for them. So that I kind of fell into this role of caretaker, if you like. My sister's 2 years older than me, and she was kind of a teenager, so she was just cracking on, having fun with life. Dad was out working, and my mum actually had sort of a breakdown when I was 12. And that whole summer I didn't have to, I chose to chose to stay at home and sort of look after her a bit. And it really flipped a sort of 360 in my head when I was very young. I was really outgoing person, doing absolutely everything. And I think I became quite introverted because I was just focusing on her. And I just wanted to fix her. There was something in me that was like, Christ, my mum's not well. I want to, what can I do? We tried everything as a family. And then I think I must have been about 16 at the time. There was like a step aerobics, as it was back in those days. Step aerobics class. My mum's always dabbled things, she's always been on a diet and God knows what as well. And I was like, Mum, let's go and do this. She's like, no, I can't. And it probably took maybe 2 or 3 attempts. First attempt, we just drove. We sat in the car park. She didn't come in, didn't do anything. And then eventually we went in. I just had a little word with the instructor, and she said, look, my mum's not feeling great. Just wanted to get her back into it. She sort of didn't really do anything in the first session. Then we went back again, and then a couple of times. And then something happened, and the light came back in her eyes. And it was it really hit me for 6, because I knew that she'd always loved dancing. That's where I get it from her. And I knew how empowering movement was. And there was just something that really the lights came back on in her eyes, and it changed her life again, of being ill, feeling that she was a failure, not being able to do anything, not being anything there for her kids. And this one little thing, a 45-minute class in a tiny village hall, had such an impact on her.
Oh, wow.
So seeing that made me then kind of want to be able to show people that how powerful it is wherever you are in your life, whether you're suffering from depression, or actually you just want to do something for yourself, or you just want to get, I don't know, mentally fit, whatever. That kind of really pushed me into, okay, I'm quite interested in this. So I started studying, but then I actually went to university and did a graphic design degree. So that's my creative side. But it just ended up training all my flatmates. I was like, every weekend, come on guys, let's get up, let's train, blah, blah, blah. One of them said to me, oh, you should be a PT. I was like, no, I haven't got time for that. I want to be a graphic designer. I want to be this big guru art director. But I actually did my gym qualification when I was at uni.
Oh, nice.
So I did my level 2 then, and then got a job up in London. That sort of took over, and just worked as an art director for a good fair few years, but then slowly got into teaching. So I was teaching at lunchtimes, after work, fitting it around that kind of like 9 till 5. I worked at Gym Box up in London, which is now a massive franchise. So when I first started, it was the original one in Holborn. It was really small. So it's been great to be able to see these guys grow as well.
Yeah, very cool.
And met so many people, and just built from there really. Then did my level 3, then did my level 4. So specialised in S&C and sports psychology as well.
Amazing. I love how as well you've come into being a coach not from the mindset of like, or the very like one track mind of like, let's lose weight, let's tone up. You've come into it from like, I want to help people because I've seen how much of an impact it has had on people closest to me. And I think as well that's the difference between yourself and perhaps other coaches who come into it purely for like more aesthetic reasons. There's nothing wrong with that, absolutely not, but there is definitely a difference in that type of coach. And then again, that kind of feeds back into how, and the community that you have created is because you've seen how much like love you want to give to it. And I feel like that when things are driven more by mentality and how it makes you feel, that always outweighs physical appearance or like physical gains, and it just creates like longer term sustainable training over everything else. And I don't know, because you've been curious about movement, you've gone out of your way to learn more and understand and do your research and do courses. So it's very fascinating. I had no idea. So what about, was it sports psychology you said? So how does that kind of feed into your training? Is it to do with mindset?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could be the best coach in terms of programming, delivering. If you can't connect with someone, there's no point. There's absolutely no point. If somebody's struggling, which let's face it, we all do when it comes to a training session, especially when you're the PT who's like, you know, trying to get the best out of you, you need to be able to communicate with that person, reciprocate, deliver, take it back, and really try and get into their head. And I've coached people from your typical Sally next door who's never done anything at all, and she's fearful of walking into the gym. We've all had that experience before. We've all been beginners, to ultra runners, ultra marathon runners who are smashing out, you know, 200k a week. And again, for me as a coach, the delivery for those two people is very, very different. And it's, the course really taught me how to just listen, because you can hear people, but if you're not listening, it's very different. It's very different. And even just small things, just as being a really good coach, if you only see one person once a week and they're telling you about what they're going to do at the weekend, ask them how they're doing when you see them the following week. How was that wedding? Just things like that. It shows that you're actually caring about them. And I genuinely do. I care about every single member that I have. And if I didn't, then I wouldn't train them. And I have actually in the past told two people to not to leave, but I said, come back to me when you're ready. Because I think there is, you see it in commercial gyms. I'm not knocking them, but there is a place where people can get really comfortable with trainers. And, you know, they're on their phone and their, you know, their members just here like repping it out. They have no idea what they're doing. Their form or anything at all. And I just had I had a couple of clients that weren't mentally in the right space. Or they were sort of not being honest with me about their nutrition and their training. And I was like, do you know what? I feel like I'm stealing from you. I genuinely do. I don't want to do that anymore. So come back to me when you're ready.
Entirely. That makes sense. It is it's having that boundary as a client and as a coach to be able to say that as well, because you're like, it's not a healthy relationship otherwise. No. And I think, you know, there's definitely, you know, some PTs pride themselves in it. I have 12 clients a day. If I had 12 clients a day, by my fifth one, I'm not giving you anything. Because I'm giving you 100% the whole time. So I have a limit. I only have 4 clients per day. Yes, I'm teaching around that time as well. But if I'm teaching at 9 p.m. at night and I've been doing a whole day getting clients back to back, you're going to get literally nothing from me. That's it. That's it. Like, fair. No, definitely not. Like yourself, I have to limit it because, again, whether it's my personality, whether it's because I'm an empath. I absorb everything that comes from all my clients.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It's so exhausting. And like, again, I don't want to, by the end of the day, meet my clients and not be able to hold space for them. Like, what is the point? I'm going to be doing you a disservice if I'm not, you know, able to hold the space properly, regardless of whether it's like yoga or regardless of whether it's more like PT. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then sometimes, like today, for example, literally like 2 hours ago, I PT'd like my best friend, but he's now also my client, which is great.
Yeah.
We both showed up and we were both like exhausted, both tired, both were just feeling like the humidity and the heaviness of the day.
Yeah.
And we just spent the first like 5-10 minutes just chatting, just seeing where we were both at. I was like, I need to rant. He's like, I need to rant. I was like, cool.
Decompress.
Decompress. And of course, you go back into the session feeling a lot better rather than just like pushing through and ignoring it.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have that relationship where we speak about things to one another. Not that I would do that with all my clients. It's very much dependent. But again, it was like, breathe, now we can come into the movement and train. And he was like, oh, Olive, I never, you know, I thought we could just push past and, you know, just crack straight into training, but I was kind of hoping that you would kind of ask me how I was doing. I was like, yes, of course I'm going to. Like, it's part and parcel of like the coaching. I can't just ignore one whole component of your body and then just focus on training you physically. The mental side is like a massive part of it.
That comes first.
Exactly. That's like, we always have a little check-in just before we start, because otherwise, like you said, you're robbing people off their time.
And your time as well. You know, it's important, I think, as a coach to put boundaries up as well. And yes, okay, when you're first starting out, you want to be a yes person, definitely, but then you soon realize you can't say yes to everything, because you're running yourself dry. And again, you know, by client number 6, like, I can't even talk, you know.
Oh my
gosh, it just gets too much. You have to learn to put those boundaries.
Definitely. And I had a really harsh lesson actually a couple of weeks ago with this. I had been like just going in I was like, I have so much to do, I have limited amount of time, it's summer, busy, ad hoc work, family, friends, social. I woke up on a Thursday morning and I had a really busy day of teaching, and I woke up and I was like, I feel like I've been hit by a train. I was like, my voice had gone, number one, you know, and it's all the scratchiness, and I had like day 1 of my bleed, and I was like, I can't coach today. And it was a real harsh reminder of like, you got to look after yourself, Olive. Otherwise, like, things will catch up with you and you won't be able to do what you love. And I was like, okay.
Exactly.
But it was the voice that had just gone. It was crazy.
God.
So and
so how do you put boundaries in then? What do you do? Are you still learning?
Still learning. 4 years on. I used to be quite good. I think pre-summer I was quite good. When July hit, it's just been difficult, because again, like, longer days, I want to be out the house, I want to see people, I want to train outdoors. I have all these like random like events and retreats and workshops that come in, and you're like, yeah, cool, it's really exciting. But then it gets like, you know, 3 weeks into that and you're like, I haven't actually had a day to myself, or like at least like 3 hours in a while. It's hard right now because I've got so much to do before I go away. But I think just being honest with people is the best thing. If like, I don't know, I've booked in to see a friend, like I've got a coffee
you do
date.
have to book it in.
Oh, you do have to book it in. Oh my God. But if it gets to the day and I'm like, I'm really sorry, I actually can't, I will be honest with them. That's good, and again, majority of my friends completely understand. Everyone's like caught in the same boat. So like, that's one of the boundaries that I have. I'm still learning boundaries with social media. I find it very difficult because I chat to all my friends on there anyway. It's like, Instagram is essentially WhatsApp to me.
Really?
Which is bad.
That's a hole to go down.
It's really bad. But then there have been occasions like when, like, for example, I've just like, I just need cover for this class because I cannot hold space right now and I'm not in a good frame of mind to. So it's just like little things. There's no real like set ways, I guess, that I kind of establish boundaries. Still working on it. We're getting there. But how about yourself?
again, I'm still learning. I'm very much still learning. I think the main thing is just listening to your body. Like you said, you clearly didn't, and you woke up and you felt like you'd been hit by a truck. I've had that so many times as well. And I'm like, gosh, why do I feel like this? Oh yeah, because I've done a 3,000-hour week and then giving it to absolutely everybody else. And you think, actually, So one thing I've really changed recently is actually, because I travel everywhere on my bike in town. Everyone sees me. Like,
see you bombing about.
And I'm like, actually, do you know what? I don't need to rush. I really don't.
Okay.
And I'm never late. I'm always early. So I will still take my bike, but I'll walk my bike and I'll walk along the seafront or walk up around Hove Park and just give myself a little bit of extra time. It's made such a difference.
Wow, yeah.
Even just adding sort of, 20 minutes of a walk a day. It's made real difference to just how I feel.
Yeah, amazing. Then that was one of the things that I really took from my therapist. He was like, Olive, you need to have more moments to just exist and be.
Exist. Because we don't.
No, he was like, you're always rushing to get somewhere, to do something, to see someone. You're never just sitting and existing. You're always doing something for the next step. But it's hard, again, coming back to when you're working in the morning, you're working in the evening, you got this chunk of time in the day and you're like, feel like I should be productive. But I also don't want to exhaust myself.
Yeah, it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, and so sometimes it'd be like I train 3 times a week, so that chunk of time there would be my training time, and that is time for me because it's completely unrelated to my work. So when I train, that is my time. And then it'd be like, oh, maybe we're seeing a friend for a coffee, that's like my socialization, and it's a time for me to sort of see how they're doing. They hold space for me, I hold space for them. But then it is also hard in those little gaps in between to just sit and do nothing, because I'm like, be productive. So to just sit and just watch TV or read a book.
But also I don't think we know how to be bored.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
We really don't. And actually, we should strive for that.
Yeah.
We should strive for the days like, I'm a bit bored.
Yeah.
That would be a really nice feeling.
Yeah,
Instead of trying to fill your day because you feel like you have to.
Yes.
And why is that? Because you're putting pressure on yourself.
Oh my God. It's so funny you bring this up. So tomorrow, Saturday, I know I'm working up until I'm working from 6:30 until 1. And then I was meant to see a friend and then rail strikes happened. So can't see them. But now I'm suddenly like, oh, I have all this free time the whole of Saturday, and instantly my brain went panic. Who else can we see? What else can we do?
How can I fill it?
How can I fill it rather than chill out?
Yeah. Rather than find a book and sit on the beach.
Yeah, because in part I'm like, am I scared to be alone in my head?
Yeah, that's exactly why I do it. I'm like, I don't want to listen to my own thoughts.
Yeah, it's so confronting. But then I'm also like, yeah, but you need that time. You haven't had that time for yourself in so many weeks. So it's a real constant check-in with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Try it.
I'll call you tomorrow and be like, I'm so on edge. No, but yeah, it's again just having that, I guess, mainly it's awareness with all these kinds of things. But
exactly.
Okay, so kind of to draw away from such a serious conversation, I want to ask you 3 little questions.
Okay.
A bit random, just to pick different parts of your brain.
Yeah,
it's fine. Okay, so if you had a religion, what would it be called and why?
Can I swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Go fuck yourself.
Nice. Alex is behind the camera nice.
I'm not knocking anybody who's religious, and my family are actually Roman Catholics. I'm not, but...
Oh my God, same.
Yeah, interesting. Oh my God. Just the same person, aren't we, really? I think that's my opinion on religion. It just causes too much war, grief, etc.
Yeah. Absolutely. Agreed.
Good.
I love that. Okay, so I feel like you've already answered this in part, but I want to ask it to you anyway because I find it fascinating. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do?
Ooh. Ooh. Gosh, do you know? Oh God! Apart from buy a jet, plane. No, not to. I'm not materialistic at all. I'd be happy with my surfboard, my other half in a shack. I really would.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably just expand the studio even more.
Hell yeah.
And just bring in more experts like you, and just have this like massive family and just build on that.
Yeah, because whenever I've been asked this question in the past, people are like, would you still work? I was like, absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah.
Absolutely. Like, work provides so much value and satisfaction to my existence that I couldn't. There'd be less pressure that I put on myself because of like finance and, you know, earning enough in this current economy. But I would still work.
Definitely.
So, yeah. But my dream would be to have a multidisciplinary space. Like, I can see it, Lucy. I can like see what this space looks like about like 8 squat racks, all the bumpers, all the kettlebells, like the ropes, ladders, like a ring for like boxing, a studio space, a really nice coffee shop, a climbing wall. The climbing wall, slack lines, like an area where you can sit and chill. This is the dream.
Let's create it.
Let's make it happen.
Exactly.
But imagine, and like a place with a swimming pool, just a space where you could do literally any movement you wanted to.
Exactly. And rehab as well.
Yeah,
you know,
rehab.
They're like, oh, let's just have a massage. Like, no, let's really have proper rehab.
Exactly. And then like treatment rooms, and then also like therapy rooms as well. So it's like a center for the mind, the body, the brain, just
the whole 360.
The whole 360.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. If Brighton had that, it'd be amazing.
I'd never leave.
I know. I'd be like, I'm living here now.
Exactly.
Like in that building.
Yeah, permanently.
I love it. Okay, final question. I don't know why this one came into my head. Describe yourself as a colour and why.
Quite like that.
Yeah.
Can I have 2 answers?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so black being a tone, because everyone knows I just wear black the entire time, and I think, well, yes, and that's the studio branding is black. I think that comes from a really young age, because actually I was trying to hide.
Oh, really?
Didn't really want to be seen, and just wore black all the time. But actually, it's just great, and I love black.
Yeah.
I have a black car. I have lots of black. But then also, I would say yellow, sunshine yellow, because a lot of people say that I'm quite happy, smiley, got a bit of a nice aura. So yeah, those 2 completely opposite.
Hell yeah. No, they work. It's really interesting when you look at like the psychology behind the colours as well, and like what they kind of mean, like especially with like branding or like personality and stuff. Yeah. I definitely know you as like always in all black.
Yeah. Even in the height of summer, she's in black. Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time. No, it's been
nice to chat. Always.
Yeah, it's just nice to again like learn about people, learn how they've come into what they're doing now, why they're here, and all of that. So I will put all descriptions and socials here in and description below. But yeah, were there any final passing thoughts or things you wanted to speak about?
I'd like to do this around the opposite way, actually.
Oh, damn.
I'd like to interview you, maybe on your podcast.
Oh, God, yeah.
For you.
Oh, interesting.
I think people, we've connected over the years, and I think people I think people should find out your journey as well.
Oh, so, that's really sweet.
Watch out.
Next time.
Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for joining, Lucy. And like, comment, subscribe. Do you want to do like, comment, subscribe? Because why not?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow the Box on, what are we? Instagram at the Box Brighton. And our website is theboxfit.co.uk. So yeah, come check us out.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.